the Biden administration's timid, politically correct, risk-adverse approach to the so many world challenges are putting all of our lives at risk, in my view. Our military-industrial bases have become depleted to the point where our country is now scrambling for weapons for our allies and even for ourselves. Do you know we're witnessing a recruiting crisis like never before? You got the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, all expecting to fall short again this year, like they have the last couple of years, not by a few hundred, but by thousands. In fact, the Army's having such a hard time recruiting, they're asking those soldiers who they dismissed for refusing to take the COVID-19 vaccine, to come on back. You think they will? I wouldn't blame them if they didn't. The Pentagon failing a financial audit for the 6th straight year. Really? Yet instead of figuring out their finances and how to get cash for their weapons, it's a for-profit business, nothing to be afraid of or to make excuses for. The Defense Department is planning to drop nearly $270 million of your funds to further the diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda, also known as DEI, for the next 2 years. So it's no coincidence that we are seeing rising threats from rogue nations across the world and are now reuniting against us. Think about it. China playing the long game, developing themselves into a scary world power that needs to be confronted. Russia, more unpredictable than ever, after starting a grinding war with Ukraine. They're not going to stop there. Iran fueling terrorists like groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, the many militias, and they're targeting our troops on a daily basis, all while covertly efforting to become a nuclear power. You haven't forgotten about that, have you? China remains our #1 threat, and now they have partners. And here's the good news. We have more friends, and we have more firepower. I think it's time we formulate a plan, activate our allies, and show the world we are the world's #1 superpower and want to remain there. Joining us now to expand on that are warfighters themselves, retired Green Beret Colonel Congressman Mike Waltz and retired Navy SEAL turned Congressman Derek Van Orden. Thanks, guys, for being here. First off, on this huge multi-million-dollar investment in DEI. Derek, Congressman, I should say. Are we already paying the price for that?
Brian, we are. And I want to put this into perspective for people. Over 6 years, the Biden administration wants to spend $280 million on DEI initiatives, which are something people should be doing already. You just treat people with respect in uniform and out of uniform. I never recall asking anybody what political party they were affiliated with or what their sexual proclivities were. We're in the military. We're there to fight. But if you look at the standing of the United States military across the globe right now, we're being mocked because the leadership in the Pentagon, and it's led by Joe Biden, has led us down a road where we have actually decreased our lethality, and that's made the world a more dangerous place.
Congressman, on top of that, the DEI approach and trying to get recruits in, is it making it harder to keep people in? And is it harder to get people in? Does that have a lot to do with the numbers?
Look, you can have the most capable military in the world, but if our enemies don't believe it is lethal and focused on defeating them, and they don't believe you have a commander-in-chief that's going to unleash them, then that's one of the reasons you see the world on fire. Derek and I served together in Afghanistan. We were on missions together. Never once were we counting how many Hispanics, African Americans, Jewish, Christian, race, religion, any of that in a black helicopter in the middle of the night. We were focused on mission. We were focused on putting bullets on foreheads of the bad guys and defending this great nation. And that's where we have to get our military leadership. This isn't the soldiers. This is the political leaders in our Pentagon that are literally putting out goals like having a carbon neutral army, renaming bases, getting them on Chinese-made solar panels, rather than dealing with the recruiting crisis, the fact that our submarines don't work, or that many of our barracks are full of mold and feces. So these are it's just misplaced priorities, period. And it's coming from the top, and it is the progressive liberal ideology that has taken over Biden's political appointees, and it's promulgating all the way through the force.
I think we're going to have to change leadership for anything to change.